Hello friends, this is Terry from Genki Gaming TV. We're back with another episode of Yokai Watch Y Academy episode review for what episode even is this? 49. Brought to you by Stark Industries or Austin. I don't know what your channel's name is now because I think you probably have changed it again. But before we get into this, I believe Y Academy has been renewed for another season. But with that being said, Y Academy is not what Yokai Watch is. Yokai Watch is a monster collecting game, or a monster collecting series. Therefore, Y Academy conflicts with that by being different. It's basically as if Shonen Jump basically fused together several shows or manga. And the reason why I'm saying Shonen Jump, because this is your typical Shonen Jump style series now, because it's more of just heroes being heroes. It's no longer about collecting allies. It's now about basically being a common rider, or like My Hero Academia. But with that being said, this episode, it's been a long time, Master Zazel. Or, oh Hisashiburi desu. Nudai the Shisha. So, this episode was a alright episode. It really felt very much rushed. And I'm saying rushed because we just had a training arc within a single episode, and there's something about that that really doesn't sit well with me. I know Junpei and Sandayu were trained by literally one of the best fighters within the Yokai Watch universe. But I will also say this. Mizera's gonna get fathered. We know this. Mizera is not a real threat unless Mizera suddenly gets stronger allies. But basically, Mizera threatens the Earth, so Fubuki, aka Clock Lady, with the help of Shishio and Kyubi, do a worldwide time bind. Basically, a big power of 3 time bind. We get a reference to Elsa Meika within this episode, just a small one. We get references to tons of yokai, ranging from Professor to Mochismo to Desmeralda, Swelton, Wigglein. I'm not gonna name all of the seaweed style yokai. Toyoletta, Drizelda, Hydabat, Chick Squeak, Boohoo, like tons of yokai were referenced in the yokai world. But this episode follows one train of thought. How do we get our overpowered character to be even more overpowered to fight Sith Overlord Palpatine? I mean, Mizera. We do get a flashback that basically bring people who've never watched the series full circle, basically who know that Hyun is, or Zazzle, basically explaining that Zazzle is strong. We get references to Zazzle doing some partial training of young Junpei and young Sandayu, basically showing up when these two little fighters first really start seeing stuff, if you really want to go that direction, where they first start awakening their yokai power. So, with a little bit of guidance, they defeat their opponents, a boar and a rat. I like how Sandayu talks to Zazu. I don't really like how Junpei does. Sandayu even does a little bow, basically showing some respect or homage to Zazu. So, with the silly flashy back time over, Emma joins the group and they basically discuss how to do some training for Junpei and Sandayu. So they go to the hyperbolic time chamber since Fubuki, Mila, and QB are basically stalling stuff out for them. And Mekatio comes along too, because why wouldn't Mekatio join the party? I mean, who would blame Mekatio after Mekatio instantly gets bodied by Zazzle? Thank you, Zazzle, for bodying Mekatio. That was a really good feel-good moment for me. I mean, I do like Mekatio after watching Mekatio fail at certain things. I think the design is still very much, let's just scribble on a cat and call it a day. But once I got past that, everything is fine. And heck, Mekatio has deeper character development than Junpei does right now, if you really want to get to that perspective. But this is a nice little hyperbolic time chamber-ish area. Everyone gets some form of a small training except for the three who are channeling the hyperbolic time chamber like world time bind effect. But Junpei and Sandayu gets the real training against previously shown Onryo. We do get a little bit of a backstory of like the yokai world, that there is a looming threat. And then Junpei and Sandayu kind of body Zazu a little bit. They initially were unable to do that, but yokai power from within them awaken. We get glimpses of Koma-san and Juban Nyan. I did that on purpose, by the way. So we get some Saltiment action. I'm calling it a Saltiment. No one argue that. And ironically, this training, which I feel like would have been a little bit better utilized if it was a full-on little mini training arc, like DBZ style, guys, since we're kind of transitioned away from being a monster collecting series to being a series more akin to basically My Hero Academia or Kamen Rider. Normally they have a few training episodes. I feel like if there would have been a couple episodes focusing on our little different subgroups within our YSP Club, the Y Mafia, the Student Council, so everyone basically benefited from having Zazo around. I mean, sure, we got to see people in action, but no Fubuki, no Mila, and no QB, which basically kind of just shows that those three will be the bottom three in the power scaling, at least for now. And that really kind of irks me a little bit, because I feel like QB and Mila are pretty strong, or should weigh in towards the upper part of the power scaling. I mean, I'm not showing favoritism, I'm just saying they give me that Zoro Sanji vibe, them trying to one-up each other and constantly being at each other's, like, in each other's face throughout the series up until really last episode. Or really the episode where they did their team attack and then was one-upped. So, yeah, seeing as they didn't get that hyperbolic time chamber-ish training, and seeing as we transition into Earthwalker, doing what Earthwalker does, guys. Earthwalker shows up, defeats someone, and then leaves. That's That's basically Earthwalker mentality. Show up, kill a thing, and then leave. So the victim is Regal, which I really think is a pun of Regal, like Royal Regal, or it could be a reference to like the brightest blue supergiant star in the Orion Belt. I mean, the fact that he's kind of has that royal vibe in his first form. His boss form, or Regal HG, is really interesting. It's kind of like a slime, or kind of like something that is more sludge, like kind of like Raremon, if you want to think about it. But he was quickly ended by Earthwalker. And I say he was ended because he was really just defeated rather quickly. I feel like he was just brought into the episode to die. But yeah, the episode was interesting. I've changed how I look at the series entirely. To me now, Yokai Watch has changed from that wacky monster collecting game to being a Kamen Rider comedy. Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm gonna be transitioning to reviewing it, because I've been trying to review it as what it already was, and I had been working from like episode, I want to say 20 onward, to transitioning to it being more of like a reviewing it as if it was just strictly a fighting game. I mean, or a fighting series with comedy. And now, since we know that for a good part of the time the comedy is what they'll be billing this as, a comedy action shonen genre, I will likely be slightly more lenient with certain things. I mean, I still am not entirely happy with what this has become. I mean, we don't have that many monster collecting series out there anime wise. We have Digimon, Pokemon, we had Yokai Watch until the Y Academy stuff, and I'm not mad that Y Academy exists. I mean, the thing that irks me about Y Academy is just like the pacing. I feel like that is hurting it a little, but I feel like with season 2 being a thing, that the pacing will be fixed, so it's not as big of a deal from a reviewer's perspective, but as like a general consumer, it can be one of those things that just kind of phases certain fans out. That's it for the review. Have a fantastic day. Love and appreciate you all. Bye bye.